Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Soul Sister, wherever you are, wherever you're watching this. It is so wonderful to be communing with you today. Thank you so much for being here with me. I am just going to check and make sure that this is happening. Let's see. Okay. So the audio is working, correct? Awesome. We got it. Okay. So today we have a really awesome talk. We're going to be talking about our cravings and how to curb those cravings like the goddess, queen, feminine archetype, amazing woman that you are. Okay. So let's just jump right into the thing. Sorry, I've got to adjust my camera a little bit. Okay, so that's not going to work. Totally fine. So let's talk a little bit about cravings and what they are. So cravings are a common challenge for those of us who experience any sort of hormonal imbalances or health imbalances. And if you're experiencing cravings, you are not weak. You are on the right path. So let me explain a little further. So first, let's take a look at what cravings actually are. So cravings aren't actually the food itself, but it's the intent driving us towards the food or toward the guy or toward the drink, what have you. Cravings themselves are just an intense desire within our bodies. There's like a void there that's needing to be extinguished or filled by something in the external. Sorry, I'm glad you're bearing with this setup. Do you guys love this plant? I love this plant, it's so cute. So, the dangers of not controlling these cravings, okay? So, especially as the beautiful feminine women that we are, has a significant implication on our overall health, our vitality, just our overall well being. So, if we're unable to curb our cravings, this can lead to hormonal imbalances, which are linked to everything from depression, hair loss, and chronic illnesses like cancer. This all can come from not being able to control our cravings. This can impact our fertility. This can create irregularities in our menstrual cycles. And if you don't know this, as a woman, your reproductive health is the pillar and indicator to your overall or our overall vitality. If there is something irregular or something going on in your reproductive health, that's very telling about what is happening in your overall health and your overall vitality. And for those of us that are going through menopause, this can make that really beautiful transition feel like hell on earth if we're completely and continuously succumbing to our cravings. So this also can affect our emotional well-being. If you're not in control of anything in your life, including the food that you eat and when you eat it, you're going to eventually become emotionally dependent on food, and that can lead to a very unhealthy relationship with food. And food is our medicine, food is our fuel, that is what it's here for. So if we don't have control of that, trust me, it's going to have control over us. And also, this can lead to weight gain and possible obesity, pregnancy complications, postpartum health, and just an overall lack of confidence or a negative body self image. So, if you have ever experienced lack of confidence or a negative body image, you know that you're walking through the world like with a cloud over your head, and you're not allowing that radiant feminine goddess essence to shine as it truly deserves to. So, excuse me, let me get my tea. So, if you want to master your vitality like the true feminine goddess queen that you are, let's keep going because that's the point of this live. I want you to live the best life possible. So let's talk about where cravings even come from, okay? like most things in life, this is not a one-trick pony, as cravings can be very complex. They can come from many different factors. So, to simplify this, cravings mainly come from three areas: emotional triggers, habitual patterns, or physical biological needs. Now, for example, let's say you've had a really rough day at work, your boss was getting on your nerves, your coworkers were getting on your nerves, or you're just like overall feeling drained for whatever reason. You go home and you order a cheese pizza and drink a bottle of wine. And as you're eating that pizza and you're drinking that wine, you're feeling so euphoric. That pizza and that wine is filling a void, is seemingly trying to recharge you. At least that's what your brain thinks. So the next day that you have that super draining, you come home, you're feeling tired, you're not feeling great, people have just been draining your energy all day. By the end of the day, you're already starting to smell that cheese. You're already starting to taste the marinara sauce. You're already starting to feel a little tipsy of the wine that you know that you're about to drink, because that is now becoming an emotional craving. Like I said, the pizza and the wine are seemingly filling this void of emptiness or low energy. My connection keeps going awry, but our body is going to think, when we feel this way, when we feel drained, when we feel low on energy, this is what we do. We order pizza and we drink wine. So now that's becoming a habitual pattern. So sometimes emotional cravings can lead to habitual. If we look at biological needs, sometimes our bodies just need nutrients. Okay, so if you crave chocolate quite frequently, you could be low in magnesium. If you are craving a super bloody steak, you could be deficient in iron. And a lot of us ladies, especially that are going through our menstrual cycles, while we're going through menses, we're losing a lot of nutrients and a lot of iron. So I know that's a time where a lot of cravings can actually happen. And that is mainly due to nutrients that are being literally drained from our bodies. And if you are having cravings of, having donuts, cake, just sweets, this could indicate that you have an imbalance in your blood sugar levels. So, this is not a one size fits all, like I said, but the more you know of something, the more power you can have over it, taking that power back from you. Because I don't know about you, but I have certainly been dealing with cravings on and off for my whole life. And when I just can't stop, I feel so powerful. And I'm just here to tell you that there's a way to take that power back. So, if you want to curb our cravings in a feminine way, we have to be able to drop into our bodies and see what our bodies actually need. As the feminine is the embodiment of honoring our vessels, right? Like, this is what feminine energy is about. We are honoring the vessels that God has blessed us with. So, as a woman, we already have the answers, and thank you so much, God. And the way we extract those answers is to drop into our beautiful bodies and, of course, to pray. So Philippians 4:13 tells us that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if curbing cravings feels like a challenge to you, I want you to remember that inner strength and that ability that you have to overcome any challenge through your faith in God, through your faith in Jesus, because we can do all things through Christ who strengthened us. This is possible for you, okay? So let's do a little activity. You can do it now as you're watching the video, or later. You can just come back to this moment. So I want you to go to a space where you can be alone, where it's quiet, it's free from distractions. I want you to sit up straight and close your eyes. And then I want you to do a few neck rolls, because that just feels really good to roll your neck. And then I want you to take 3 deep belly breaths like this. And now I want you to visualize your body being healthy. I want you to see how toned your body is. I want you to feel how good you feel when your body is at its healthiest point. I want you to envision this healthy body in your dream outfit and how it drapes so beautifully over your body, or how it fits every curve to a T. I want you to actually see that vision in your mind, that healthy, happy body. See what it looks like in a mirror. And now I want you to speak to yourself, to your body. I give myself permission to look and to feel this way. And sit in that for as long as you'd like. And this is a really important aspect about changing our minds about cravings. We have to give ourselves permission to do something different. That's all. Giving into cravings is giving away your power. Giving into anything that you aren't actually making a decision to do is giving away your power. And like we talked about before, it typically leads to weight gain, to chronic illnesses, and more than anything, an overall lack of confidence. Now, if we're walking through this world not confident, we're not walking in our feminine essence, and we're not able to bless the people around us because we're not truly tapping into our truest essence. And we have to understand that our purpose of these have and help us thrive. Our bodies repair themselves at night with proper sleep, right? It has blood cells that helps to fight diseases. It has organs that filter out our environments, our toxins, and our food. And all our bodies want from us is for us to care about it as much as it cares for us. And this all begins with changing our mind. So that's really why I want you to try and do that visualization on your own. See that healthy, toned, beautiful body and really feel the feelings that you're feeling. And then give yourself permission to be that person. And then everything else is going to fall into place. And we can also do several things other than just visualize to stop and reverse these cravings. So dealing with leptin resistance, like we talked about in our Eat video, play a big role in curbing our cravings. And if you want to know more about it and how to manage it, because that's important, detoxifying the body is an important part in ultimately curbing cravings. Our leptin resistance is going to help you in this process. So next, first, we talked about changing our mind about our cravings, right? And how to, even if you're not a breakfast person, punishment. It is fuel. Body feel it needs at the beginning of the day. So I want us to think of our bodies as a wood burning stove, okay? Periods of time. And you don't want to put tiny sticks and twigs and pine cones in there that are just going to burn it out so quickly. You want those hardy logs, that slow burn of sugar cereals, sugary carbs, oatmeals, cravings. So carbs and sugar are like the sticks and leaves and twigs that I was talking about that go into that wood stove. The only for the moment, in an hour that findings come from. They can come from vitamin or nutrient deficiencies, but also cravings come from the food that we put into our bodies, which speaks to that biological or physical need. So once you start replacing, let's say, love quick blueberries and cream, peaches and cream, strawberries and cream, honey, you name it. I was having like 4 or 5 packages every day. I loved it. Okay. But that is full of sugar and that is a processed food. So if we replace those Quaker oats, blueberries and cream with rolled oats, real blueberries, sprinkle some canela, some cinnamon on that, and put some milk in there, your milk of choice. My personal milk preferences are plant-based milk, so almond, coconut, or oat milk. Your body is going to actually begin to crave that. Our bodies are not only are they magnificent machines that repair themselves, they're also a memory vault of what we put into it. So that's really where our cravings come from as well. If you eat something like we were talking about earlier with the cheese pizza and wine example, you keep eating that, it becomes a habitual pattern. Okay. And the third dietary point here to help us curb our cravings: avoid processed, refined, or packaged carbs and sugars, because these foods will destroy your gut health and perpetuate those unwanted cravings. Remember, the body is a vault, a memory vault. And the fourth point in curbing our cravings the dietary way, we want to drink at least 2.5 liters of water, which is 84 ounces, which is 10 cups of water per day. Sometimes you're not hungry. You're honestly just dehydrated. I forget what the actual percentage is, but it is an extremely high percentage of people, especially in the States, that are severely dehydrated and we don't even know it. So, some tips on how to successfully up your water intake during the day, let me know in the comments below, and I will be so happy to make that video. So, we talked about the importance of changing our minds to curb our cravings. We talked about some dietary changes that we can do to help speed that process up. And now, another key pillar in curbing our cravings is movement. And if we're talking about how to curb our cravings in a feminine way, we're talking about especially those gentle movements to activate that feminine essence. So, walking in nature, doing a Pilates class on YouTube, belly dancing, stretching, practicing Tai Chi. These activities are connecting deeper with our bodies, which is the feminine, right? Like we talked about, the embodiment of connecting with our vessels. It's reducing stress and promoting a stronger sense of vitality that will ultimately help alleviate cravings. So like we talked about, cravings also come from emotional triggers. If your body feels balanced because you are outside doing gentle walks, like I'm not saying go to the gym every day and stay there for an hour and a half. Like actually don't do that. That's not going to help you. That's actually going to hurt your body. It's wear and tear. But on those days where maybe you can't get up and go to the gym, just going out for a walk in the sunshine for 10 minutes is going to work wonders for your body, your health, and ultimately help alleviate your cravings. So the last part that we're going to talk about today of how to curb your cravings is we want to learn how to replace your cravings and not ignore them. Like I talked about in the example of the Quaker oats or making your own oatmeal. Now, ignoring anything is only going to make it grow, which also relates to our emotions, right? If you ignore how you feel, it's going to stay trapped in your body. Physically, those emotions stay trapped, and then dis-ease settles into your body. And that dis-ease ultimately turns into disease. One example of this is the effect of stress on the body. So I want you to Google this, okay? Go to Google and type the physical effects of stress or how stress can turn to disease in the body. And you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And also, for us that have kids, ignoring a screaming child, yeah, see how far that's going to get you. It's not going to get you very far, okay? So, I love to speak in examples. So, if we're talking about the importance of replacing a craving rather than ignoring it, here we go. Let's say, and I know there might be a few of you out there that love the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Like that is your peanut butter and jelly, that is your jam. You're craving it, you love it, you want it all the time. But every time you eat it about an hour later, you're physically like you're irritable, your mood is irritable, you're hungry, your stomach is gurgling and very upset with you for making this decision. So you have this craving and you say, no, girl, actually, we can't have that. It's bad for us. Let's just ignore it. I'm just going to have something else. And I'm sure we've all done this. What happens in a week or two of doing this, of just ignoring the craving? We're right back in Popeyes. And this time we're scarfing down 2 chicken sandwiches and Cajun fries. And this is because ignoring, it just doesn't work. But replacing, now that's the ticket. So if you really want that chicken sandwich, right? This is what I want you to do, girl. Because what is the chicken sandwich? What is it? It's some chicken with lettuce and tomato and whatever else goes in there between 2 pieces of bread. So if you want that, have it. Go to the grocery store. Get some pasture-raised organic chicken breast. Get some sourdough bread or sprouted bread, a container of butter lettuce, some cherry tomatoes, purple onion, Dijon mustard. Then bring your cute little self home. Saute or grill that chicken on the stove. Compile all of your ingredients. And girl, eat it. Eat the chicken sandwich. But this chicken sandwich is a million times better because you've replaced a craving and you've actively and consciously made a decision to have a much more healthier relationship with your food. You're not immediately giving in to what your brain and your body is saying. It's saying, go to Popeyes, we want that sandwich. You're like, no, I'm going to make my own sandwich and I'm going to steer the ship because I am the captain of this vessel. The ingredients you're buying are beneficial for your body. You're cooking these ingredients, so you're putting your love and your energy into the meal, and you get to enjoy every morsel even more so. Playing around with spices and finding out what makes the perfect grilled chicken sandwich for you. Okay? And you've got your healthy fats and protein, chicken breast. You've got your veggies, your butter lettuce, your onion, and your cherry tomatoes. And it's all whole foods, not the highly processed sugar spiking Popeyes meal. And by the way, fast food and sugar go hand in hand. Sugar is dumped. I'm saying dumped into ingredients, especially bread in fast foods. And this is just to make it more addictive. Like, my girls, these places do not have your best interests at heart. They do not have your health at their heart. They just have their bottom line, which is profit. That's their goal. Okay. So we can take our power back. We can take our money back, and we can actually spend our money and vote for our health. Every time you spend your money on something, you're voting in one way or the other, is how I like to look at the energetics of money and how I spend it. So if you go to Popeyes and spend your money at Popeyes, you are voting for having not the best relationship with food, and also not feeling great and not giving your body the fuel that it needs. So there's an example. And also, if you find that just snacking is your jam in general, eventually we want to eliminate snacking altogether. And there's also an 80-20 rule, right? Which we'll get into in another video, because to live a balanced life, we shouldn't be so rigid. We have to give ourselves indulgences, but that's really not what this particular video is about. But if you'd like to know more about this 80-20 rule and the balance, let me know and I'll make that video. But eventually we do want to eliminate snacking as much as possible, simply because we want our digestion system to have time to rest and digest, right? But remember, we're not going to ignore the snacking cravings. We finna have that snack, okay? So if our usual snack is an iced coffee and a donut or a muffin, we can just replace that with a lemon water and an apple with almond butter. Apples are a fabulous source of energy, and almond butter is a great source of a healthy fat and protein. So if you're also usually craving having a bag of chips because maybe you have a salty craving, why not try a piece of avocado toast on sourdough or sprouted bread and sprinkle some sea salt over that? You got the crunch, you got the salt, you have a healthy fat, you have a much better meal. So if you want to talk more about specific foods to replace cravings, then let me know in the comments what you're currently struggling with, and let's make a plan on how we can replace these cravings. So just to recap how we curb our cravings like a goddess, first we have to change our mind. And what really helps change our mind is to drop into our body and see what it needs. Visualize your healthy body, visualize how you feel, and also pray about it. Like we said, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. I know that it can be really hard to curb the things that control you, but you can do anything through your faith. Anything at all. And it's all about starting with changing your mind. And then we talked about the dietary examples that we can do to help change our cravings. Eating breakfast, having complete proteins and veggies at breakfast, upping our water intake, all extremely important in this. And avoiding those processed sugars and foods as much as possible. We also talked about the importance of movement and gentle movement, getting outside, doing some Pilates, doing some Tai Chi. And ultimately, we're not going to ignore these cravings. We're just going to replace them with something that's better, because remember, our bodies are a memory vault. So if you are feeling a certain way and have a certain food, when you feel that way again, your body is going to crave that. So if you can just replace those cravings when you feel it in the moment, your body will eventually crave that. Isn't it so cool how our bodies really want to work for us? We just have to put in some effort and some time to work for it as well. So you got this, goddess. This is not a linear road. There are going to be ups and downs, but just know anytime you eat your breakfast, you do those things that we just talked about, you are essentially writing a love letter to your future self. Every time you make a different decision that's going to benefit your health and your happiness, you are voting for your future self to live that vivacious, effervescent life. And girl, she is doing backflips. She's so appreciative of the effort that you put in today because she is thriving. Okay. Well, that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this beautiful Sunday or whatever day it is. And let me know what you thought of this video. I'm so curious what kind of cravings that you have experienced and if you have experience with curbing those in a feminine way. All right, Soul Sister, I will talk to you next time. I love you so much. Ciao for now.